So there's this guy from Nigeria, right? So he recently arrived in the UK with his wife and 2 kids. So Koto De, he has a friend in Sheffield. And I think the agreement was, hey, dude, you can stay with us, you know. So both families, they go way back, childhood friends and all that. So, as a gesture of goodwill, guy said, you can stay with me, find your footings and be able to put, money together, blah, 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 blah. Dude has, I think he has from what I gathered, a 3-bedroom house in Sheffield. With a back garden and driving, a bit of a garage in the front end. So, long story short, this geezer landed here with his wife and 2 kids, about a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Right. So, by that day, it's a case of, I don't know really have the full picture about his, backgrounds with regards to type of visa or anything like that. But what I picked from the whole story was he's trying to settle and all that stuff. So as soon as he landed, he was bugging his friend regarding work and all that. Dude has limited, when I say limited educational background, he's got the odd, educational thing from back home, but it's not like all this exceptional skill set that would perhaps get him absorbed into slightly higher hierarchy of jobs and be able to earn, from top end jobs you get like IT and all the rest of it. So anyway, which is care job, right? Forgive me. So the friend said, basically, based on what the UK is offering people at the moment, the care job industry is being, there's a huge influx of people growing interest in that sector. So I think reluctantly he went into some kind of agency, and after about a week, dude started moaning because of the nature of the job and what it entails and how he's had to get absorbed into bang in the middle of people's rectums and get the job done. Okay, you get this.
Can you not do that? Can you be serious? I'm listening.
So when we go for us, that's it off. But you chair you want soft phone but you get.
Yeah.
So his friend then said, I do this type of job. I think he does these he works as a data analyst. He used to work for Royal Mail, and then sort of improve the skill set, but he works as a data analyst. And then the guy on the side, but when I say data analyst, still earning capabilities in high up there, right? Okay. So the guy, anyway, mostly on weekends would do Deliveroo, all this Uber Eats and, delivery stuff. He's got these small car that he uses, and that delivery job gives him that sort of extra
just topping up his
income and supporting his family.
Yeah.
And I give the man props. Mm-hmm. It's a honest leaving, right? Mm-hmm. So you've landed. Your wife and kids are, desperately consuming their foodstuffs now, and
as they would. Yeah.
Ah, boy, I'm going to hell, man. So, but hey, so check this, right? Then the geezer, his friend, then said, okay, there is this job that I do on the side, because he was struggling with the care job, bro, man, enough of, having to find myself scrubbing between the butt cheeks of elderly white folks. And that's the nature of the job. It's not race specific, but that's just me being a bit cheeky there. But now, friend said, okay, I don't know what else to offer you. Would you look in the direction of, doing this Uber Eats delivery thing? Because you don't have a driver's license. So, but you can start using maybe bikes. I can actually buy you an electric bike. And electric bikes are not cheap, good ones.
So he's actually offering to buy him.
His friend hosting him, who lives in Sheffield, right, offered to buy him an electric bike and or a scooter of some sort, which would also have that electric stuff or perhaps a rechargeable, stuff for him to start doing the delivery job. So dude took an offense. The conversation got absolutely explosive. Èmi lágbájá ọmọ lágbájá èmi obìnrin mi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ èmi máa gbóúnjẹ la máa deliver ló fẹ́ fa gbogbo.
What a numpty.
Èmi wá sí ìlú ó ṣáà dá sí rough ó fa gbogbo singlet. Yeah, well, I wasn't there, but you get.
Yeah.
So anyways, he got really explosive. He said, that's quite, demeaning and all that. So the friend also, got angry and said, so what do you want me to offer you then? You should have looked extensively into all of this before coming to the UK. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. And then I'm telling you, man, these got blown out of proportion and all that. Oh, you're trying to belittle me. So the guy is like, how am I trying to belittle you? I work as a data analyst, right? I earn X amount of money every year. My wife does XYZ for a living, right? We've got 2 lovely children. We've had 2.
So there's already 4 people in the 3-bedroom property.
That's right.
And now, is it just him and his family or just himself? The guy that just arrived?
Him, his wife, and 2 children. And from what I picked from the email, they're saying the wife is a bit gluttonous. I cannot confirm, but in Cotton Sonia, we won't be any Jones.
So in short, 8 people.
You can imagine how crowded. 3-bedroom house sounds big, but it's not.
For 8 people, really, it's not.
Yes.
So 8 people.
Yes.
So what was his plan? Like, he just thought it would come. His friend would accommodate him.
Yeah, I think he's got this psychological battle going on. Call it blend more for which is a care job, and it's just the nature of the job. He shared Benny, and you have to brace it and just do it.
What was he doing before coming to the UK?
Good question. So from what I picked up, they said in Nigeria, he had multiple streams of income. One of them being, for example, helping people to procure lands. Also he had a partnership with somebody where they had this small scale sort of like a real estate thing. The real estate is not building homes and all those things. It's basically getting tenants, helping tenants, potential tenants to find accommodation and stuff like that. People would come to them and they would show them, vacant properties. So they was like sort of the middleman between the potential client and, landlords and things like that. They also had a fumigation business on the side. He had this partnership with a friend, another childhood friend based in Nigeria.
Yeah.
What I gathered was he wasn't doing bad.
So he's not an average person.
No, he was driving.
Suffering.
He was driving a Honda Pilot, the 4x4. Okay. He was driving a Honda Pilot. His wife wasn't clear about what the wife does for a living, but wife had a Sienna. A Toyota Sienna, much more recent, that she drives with the children, right? She also had an income, a stream of income. Well, what she did, I don't know. I don't have that information. So he had those, the fumigation business and the fumigation business stroke cleaning business. They offered a lot of commercial services. And so he had those 2 businesses with the same friend, right? Okay. And that was growing. Mm-hmm. So, but his friend said, he had traveled to Nigeria at some point for his own father's burial, right? So there was a bit of a catch up and they socialized and they sat down. So this guy was banging on about he wants to move his family to the UK. So Alliance of move more completely, like you want to move them. Like why? But it would appear to me that you're doing well. Yeah. He even said that this guy part of the conversation, said he had bought a plot and a half parcel of land, and he was contemplating on starting a building project. So this guy, who is based in the UK, the data analyst guy, told him that why don't you focus on building your home and possibly expanding this business that you have in businesses actually. In fact, this guy advised him that if you know what you're doing, at some point you can possibly maybe flesh away from that friend, and if you maybe should stand alone, if you have concerns about splitting profits, and even though you're splitting profits, you're doing very well. The guy was the brain behind the fumigation business. Okay, that one picked up quite a lot because the other guy has, according to what I was told, has a lot of contacts and stuff, but didn't mind going 50-50 with him. Tells me that one is a good friend. So, but the whole idea of relocation, and let's be clear, this is your average Nigerian guy, It's not academic. There isn't any major skill set in that regard. But there's always this move travel blindly, like I normally say, right? And the truth is, if we laser target our focus on skill sets and whatnot, you don't really have any transferable skills that you can bring into these society that's regarded as advanced, right? So he would do the real estate business, help people to buy lands, even sometimes manage building projects, supply building materials. The long and short was he wasn't doing bad. Okay? Life is designed in a way that not everybody is academic. I've said that 1,000,001 times. So anyways, lands here, and I also picked, because there's a trend where some of our people, I don't know how they did that, but they said somebody that did the sponsorship for him, he paid them £8,000. So that bit's a bit cloudy, but I think I kind of have an idea. Because they would offer that sponsorship, like when he gets here, we'll give you a job off the back of the care job. Right. They must have sold the thing to him in a way that one could call, fraudulent misrepresentation. So he bought into the idea, came here with a wife and 2 kids, got rid of the whole thing back home. Now, he got into the care job. He didn't like it. It must have been a major shock into his system.
Yeah, of course.
A 43-year-old man has never dipped into the butt cheeks of random members of the public to wash it for a living. He flies 6 hours flight to the UK, and then he's faced with that as a reality now. So, understandably so, he would wrestle with that mentally. Yeah. Now, the friend said, why don't she delivery job? He said no. Fight broke out. What do you think?
I don't know. To be fair.
By the way, this is Victoria. This is my wife.
Hi everyone.
So I just thought, let's have a bit of a chit chat about this, and then go on.
I think the issue here is the fact that, as you always say on your channel, people they travel blindly. This is an example, a typical example. Sold everything, I'm guessing. Left everything behind. Thinking the UK was the best option. Red flag. Then he lands here. He's even lucky that he had someone to accommodate him, which is not the case for so many people. And he's got a friend who's trying to push for, okay, if you don't like that, you can do something else.
This is what I do for a living. I'm a data analyst, and I also do delivery on the side. Let me get you into, because you don't have a driver's license, I'll buy you an electric bike.
What else do you want?
And realistically speaking, this is what I say about the reality. The friend hasn't got anything else to offer him. You can't give what you don't have. So he kicks off, So here's the deal, before you crack on. The argument, blew out of proportion. I think the friend's wife had been in the background. She couldn't take it anymore. And she basically, pulls her husband to the side and say they need to go.
Yeah, I would do the same, because I can see that.
Oh, my little body.
I would do the same, because the thing is, first of all, I'm trying my best because I'm sure my husband you would have told me, oh, I've got a friend coming.
Yeah.
Depending on what duration we agreed to.
Yeah, what I mean, like go. Go on.
We would have agreed how long they're staying for, obviously, till they get on their own feet as well. And in that time, seeing that my husband is trying to, okay, I can see you don't like the job that you came into, that you started with.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's trying to offer you something else, so you can have an income coming in, so you can see, okay, you're making steps towards you and your family finding your own space and settling down.
Absolutely.
Then my husband is offering you that, and you're fighting my husband. He's not your problem.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to reach a boiling point where, okay, if you're not going to accept the help, because in this UK, in this Europe, in this Western world that we call, we don't really help each other, which is sad.
Yeah.
So if my family is trying to help your family and you're throwing it back in our faces, then please leave and go and sort yourself out. You're not happy with the washing the bum cheeks, fine. I can't do that job. Respect to the people that do it. I personally can't do the job.
That's right.
You don't like it, okay, fair enough. Now you're being offered a delivery job. It's not the best career,
and you don't
it's a starting point.
And you don't exactly have let's say readily available skill set. Let's say, for example, you have some IT skills, like I said, or accountancy skills, things like that can make your shall I say absorbance into the society a lot easier for you. And then you can be able to chase an even better type of paycheck or sector in the job industry and stuff like that. Or what does it off? And so the guy kicks him out now, and I understand things are pretty rough for him, so wife.
Yeah.
His wife and children have had to then go to some other person that one could trace.
Okay.
They had to go to Birmingham.
Right.
He now has, because here's a deal. There's some woman who's like a slightly older lady in like her 50s or something like that, mid 50s. She lost her husband. She heard about the issue with this guy in Sheffield. So okay, but I can only accommodate your wife and the children. I don't want no man in my house. Hey, It's her space.
Yeah. Sound
a little crazy, but what can you do? So now I said, sir, Mr. Agbabiaka, Emma Wabigba. So he's now basically is squatting with someone else somewhere in somebody's living room. He's currently sleeping on an inflatable bed, behind a couch somewhere, just putting his head there. So I can imagine that puts further dent into his emotions. And then
so what is he now doing?
Limited access to sugar walls as well. Of course, that's irrelevant, but
not today. Not today, fam. Not today.
No, get down.
I'm not riding that wave.
No. But on a serious note, right? So now he's somewhere squatting. I don't know, man. Everything's upside down. And that's also led to quite a lot of friction between him and the wife. So the wife now is staying with the two kids with this woman. We're in Birmingham. And also that one as well has said, I'm happy to help. But she's put an expiration date on the duration of stay. And what she has said in a nutshell is, you can stay with me for a maximum of 90 days.
What?
Which is what? 3 months. But then, look, this is what I say to people. You cannot blame anybody.
There are children in this decision making.
So, and remember the friend in Sheffield? So there's basically a back and forth between families back in Nigeria now, because this dude has now sort of gaslit his friend in terms of his version of the story that he's narrated to his own family back home. So his mum and dad has gone to these guys' parents back home and said, you're not happy because, you know, that sentiment. So right now there's war back home. They're childhood friends. The friendship goes way back when they were little kids from primary school. So, but you understand from the Nigerian point of view, sentiments. So his own parents, they are loggerheads with the other geezer, mudslinging and all that. But where they are currently, he is squatting somewhere. Currently no job, has a bit of peanuts in the pocket. Wife is with this 50-something-year-old woman who has said, you can only stay with me for a maximum of 90 days. So again, what do you think? What do you think is the way forward?
It's tough because I can imagine the money he probably brought with him is being spent.
With the current rate.
So, but what is he doing right now? You know where he's squatting? What job is he doing?
Good question. He's not working. So basically, he's even at loggerheads with himself because the problem is the immediate job that he can get his hands on is a care job, right? He doesn't want to do it because he finds it abhorrent. Okay, yada, 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 you know, nature of the job, like I said earlier. Mm-hmm. So, but then, the question is, how long for?
Yeah.
This is why it takes me back to my point. If you have something going for you,
don't throw it away. Don't throw it away.
This whole idea of, I'm just going to put on a blindfold and put on earplugs and disregard what the place I'm going to potentially looks like. And then when I get there, in the name of such and such, of Holy Ghost, blah, 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 things are just going to miraculously. Life doesn't work like that. And what really cuts through me is, again, I cannot disregard what this guy's background was when he was back home. What he had going for him.
He had a good life. He had a good life.
So, only fumigation business with your friend, right? You also have this real estate thing, getting accommodation for potential, tenants, people who are looking for accommodation. You were doing property management, for landlords. You were selling lands. He wasn't doing bad. No. Then he had the fumigation business, and he blindly flushed everything down the drain. Let's be clear. Whilst he was in Africa, right? He lived like a god. Mm-hmm. He did not have to sleep on anyone's inflatable bed. He did not have to be in that situation. This is why I say this one for me is absolutely self-inflicted. Mm-hmm. And it's the story of so many of our people within our community. And this is how you now put yourself in a very nasty situation. Like you said, children are involved. Is it fair now?
It's not fair on the children.
That the children are now suffering.
No. I heard one recently. Would you say someone who is in Nigeria earning 150k
a month,
mm-hmm. Living with their parents, but they have that salary,
right?
Would you advise someone like that to pack up their job and come to the UK? Because the person has actually moved here and is still...
The person earning 150k?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Luckily for the person, mm-hmm. he can still work remotely. So he still has that job, basically.
That 150k job?
Yeah, he still has it.
All right.
But he's here, he came to do masters. Yeah?
How is he able to do that with studying masters full time?
I don't know how long he will be able to keep the job
Keep that job for, right.
But the problem he's having now is doing an exchange rate for that 150,000. It's just about £184.
Yeah, that's right.
So living expenses here reveals that money is peanuts in pounds.
Yeah, that's right.
But over there, I'm guessing has limited expenses. So
he was living with his parents.
The money would go a long way. It would not spend it to the last penny.
Yeah.
But here, 184, you want to
184 pounds will go in a flash. I'm
guessing it's in a student accommodation. I don't know if
it's a truckload of monthly outgoings.
So it's really nothing. But over there, it means a lot.
Well, what I would say to that, based on what you've just said, is he's come here for masters, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to think that there is a sponsor behind him. There was somebody paying for the master's degree. That expenditure, and also in terms of his accommodation, there's somebody funding him. So it clearly, evidently doesn't come from a poor background.
Yeah.
So having said that, if this place aligns with him spiritually, and because I know after your master's degree, there's a 2-year window thing that they gave with those work permit thing that they give.
2 years. What's it
It's
called? Post work, whatever.
Yeah. So when they get that's basically for him to be able to navigate through society. Hopefully, if he gets his hand on a job, I mean, come on, man. Even if let's even say, for argument's sake, that even if he doesn't have the master's degree thing going, he would earn more than £184 here.
Of course.
Even if it's a job, even if it's a security guard job. But of course, you have the living expenses, you have all that. So, I mean, 150k isn't
it's not the greatest, but
at home,
in comparison to people that have no job. I'm only drawing an example off of the statement that you make. Don't throw what you have away. Like that is just someone who is reliant on a salary of 150,000.
Yes.
Granted, lives with family, so the issue of paying your rent or whatever is not the case for this person.
That's right.
But now comparing to someone who has, look at all the businesses that you've laid out.
Yeah.
That this person, this is someone that earns more than that 150,000.
Oh, come on, way more.
But still.
That 150,000, he can, from getting a tenant into an accommodation, say somebody wants to rent a 3-bedroom apartment and stuff like that for a year, they're trying to pay for 2 years and stuff, doing all the paperwork, all the extras on top, getting their commission as estate agents and stuff, they would easily get way more than that 150,000 from one transaction. So, and it depends on now how big their portfolio is, the number of properties, the influx of people, if they are advertising through third-party mediums and things like that. So those are two separate stories. But for these other guy, the first one, Tanso, he had businesses. There are tons and tons of people. The long and short of what I'm saying that make these crazy decisions is because there's the colonial damage to the mindset. Nothing that we have in motherland Africa is good enough.
Yes, that's a terrible way of thinking.
We see a lot of our people see it as second, third, fourth, fifth class. Like it's until they've destroyed everything that they have, and until they've gone to the West, they have not made it in life. And that's like a major toxic driving force behind all of these jaw-dropping stories that we hear. Go on.
So their case is now so they can't go back home because it's going to be empty-handed. And staying here, unfortunately, it's a case of starting from the bottom.
Yes. And also, in addition to that, there is also the immigration journey that's in this system, which is, it's modern day slavery. I've said it. It's intentionally done. And then you can't blame the UK. At the end of the day, we came into their jurisdiction. What they've done is they've made that journey of you becoming a permanent resident, the one that they've thrown into the far, far distance for you. So, he's in his early 40s now, this guy. So before you even get to the point of becoming a permanent resident, just put some 12 or so years on it. You're already in your 50s, looking at 60 in front. I mean, if it's worth it for you, and the whole lie of, because of children, a lot of people have made mistakes. The same children will come and suffer. Do you understand? So, but for me, on the final note, so we can drop shutters on this, is I think, okay, you've made your blunder now.
You've got to do something else.
And you can't do the delivery job or any other type of, maybe, I don't know, job that he regards as bottom end of the spectrum type of jobs. Why don't you go back?
Yeah.
And go and restart before it's too late.
They can't. You see, the thought process is not easy for them like that. Imagine saying goodbye to people that you're going to the UK, thinking you had it all or you have it all
figured
out. And then you don't have it all figured out when you get here.
Because of that, you're right. So because of that shame.
They can't. Think of it as psychologically. I, as a person, if I was in that situation, it would be the last decision for me to make. But one thing I would not do is sit on my hands. I would do any and everything.
That's right.
To get monies coming in. Because think about the children. I don't know what the rules are now. Because, back then when I went to school, no one's asking you for your passport or whatnot.
Yeah, things are totally different now.
You can just register in a primary, secondary school and...
No checks and
uncle,
times are different. That's years ago.
But now, how are the children going to get into school? They've got to get educated. Is that a possibility?
And if you don't let them go to school and the system spots it, you're going to get in trouble.
Exactly. I mean, if it was a single person, the guy on his own or the woman on her own, traveling, and they find themselves in this situation, then, on your own, you're not worrying about your children in that, how are they going to feed or how are they going to go to school? You are on your own, striving to make money. If they're back at home in Nigeria, you send money to them. But, that extra worry of, I want mom, you lost to school.
That's right.
I want mom, you're in JJ. That's an additional burden. So, but they're here now. He and her, if possible, they're just going to have to work together to make money. Unfortunately, the good opportunity that he had, which is rare for most people that leave Nigeria and come here, have a friend who accommodates you, doing everything to ensure that you have a source of income, you threw that away.
Absolutely.
You threw that away. I think he's a selfish human being for doing that. Because he wasn't thinking of his wife and his children and himself in particular.
Sometimes.
Now...
Some men are pushed by women, though.
To do what?
To just blindly go abroad. Sometimes.
Oh.
That's why I said sometimes. Yeah. It'll be the idea of the wife. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I want my children to go to the UK. They must go to the UK. The UK. Femi. Oh, ni Femi. Yado Femi jam mommy. Ogunlaka elo ma fi Femi. So the guy caves in and then says, yeah, let's go. Then it gets here now. And then it's a totally different narrative, man.
I actually know of one where the husband was earning 500,000. She was earning 300,000 naira. So a combined income of 800,000.
Not bad.
They still left.
And then what happened?
Well, luckily for them, they've gone through the Canadian process. They've got the PR and stuff. They're moving away and stuff. So, but the prospect of job...
That's a story for another day, because the Canadian thing, for those don't gel off that it works for, it works for. There's a huge scale of those that are hit with a major surprise, racism, discrimination, the glass ceiling and all that. The system would accept all your qualifications to get you into the pool because you're going to pay them money. They make tons of money from this. When you get into the Canadian society, it's a totally different ballgame. Yeah. There are plenty of our people that are in the system. Like you said earlier, if I reference what you said, people remain abroad because of shame.
Yeah.
I've had people say that to me, that, you know what, Phrankleen, it's been hell, but out of shame. And also, as the year goes by, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just find that justification to just remain. And then there's that growing disconnect anyway. So you say, I'll just remain and just crack on with it. But there is no fulfillment.
Yeah.
And they just get on with it.
And it's worse being in the shadow of the system.
Oh.
It's one thing to be here. You've not found yourself where you would like to be. Okay, let's say but you still have a permit to stay. Most people don't.
That's
right. So you have all that worry, and then on top of that, you have no papers. Just looking over your shoulder every day. That's the worst feeling ever.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your wonderful contribution, my lady.
You're welcome.
So I just thought,
let's do this again.
Definitely, man. I should bring you on video, man. You should come on the channel and come up.
I don't want to be famous.
No, come on.
I don't want my face out
No,
there.
we're going to Yeah. My name is Phrankleen, and we've had brief contribution. from Victoria. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. If you're interested in Ifa divination, feel free to bang me an email to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Whatever questions you have, you're looking to recalibrate your life, whatever decisions you are looking to gain clarity from, partnership compatibility checks, Akosejaye, which is otherwise known in English as predestination checks. What were you called to do in this dispensation? I've been offering this wonderful service in our community for the past 3 months or more now, and it's been amazing. Whatever generational problems, spiritual problems, Ifa is able to unpack it. Hey, my Uber Eats is on the way. Thank you very much. Bang me an email if you're interested in that. And once again, thank you to Victoria for lending her voice. My name is Phrankleen. The premise of this is one step at a time. We can emancipate ourselves. We can hopefully educate ourselves and collectively get together and get better as a group of, wonderfully made black folks. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Bye.